I think you should start since you don't
Okay.
this.
Tell us the good things and the bad things about your job. Well, the good things and the bad things are the weather, because a day like today, you forget most of the problems.
Yeah.
Aye, that's true.
And the bad days, you sometimes want to go away in a corner, What do you do?
Another good thing about the job is that you walk out the door and you're at your work. You're not having to travel for an hour in traffic or whatever. That's a big plus, I think.
We the original works from home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Except you have to go out the door.
Yes.
I would say it's more than a job, it was a way of life, really.
Yeah, definitely.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
That's the way you brought up the way and just work on that way.
Aye. They tell us it should be more of a business than a way of life, but maybe some are, but I think up this part of the world it's more a way of life.
Aye.
I don't think I would be doing it as a business. It has to be a way of life.
Yeah.
Well, really, because you think all the farmers was in the valley,
Yeah.
all families,
Yeah.
and that's the way they lived.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's
you
right.
do it because you enjoy it.
Mhm.
Aye.
Another big plus is that if you're farming on you're your own boss.
Yeah.
You don't have to answer to anyone other than maybe the wife or the bank manager.
See, I did most of the tractor work on our farm.
Uh-huh.
That was my part of it. I did the stock as well, but I did all the tractor work and combine and the rest of it. Well, you worked as long as the weather was good. You worked as long as you can.
As long as you can, yeah.
Yes.
Yep, aye,
Yeah.
aye.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
mean, we didn't hours did they matter?
No.
No, that's right.
To me, anyway, the job done and
You
you
to
do
get
it.
on with it, yeah.
And the hours are probably less in the winter and more in the summer
That's right.
Yes.
because of that.
Oh, aye.
Aye,
There's
just
more
the
daylight in the summer, so
Though I know,
there's
well,
more time to get things done.
aye. Well, feeding cows, we're, inside
Aye.
all winter.
Well,
You're pretty fixed on your hours because they're probably
Yeah.
they're not very patient either, and
no,
you've just got
they
to.
know the time well.
Yeah, and you just get into routine.
Mhm.
The other thing it says here, how did you get into farming?
Well, we
When
just-
did you start farming and why?
Well, we just brought up on the farm from our kids.
Hmm.
And that was it. Just worked in.
It just it's
I
kind of
mean,
expected of us
I
in
mean, my
some
wee
way.
sister, she was only when you at school. She still had a wee forky.
Aye.
And they're doing and getting up all the bits of straw about the place.
Aye, yeah.
They all had their job to do
Aye.
at that time.
I was born into it, but
We
there
never
was
thought anything else.
nothing else I really wanted to do. Well, there was bits and pieces
And they
of
said-
fancies, but at the end of the day, I ended up on the farm.
But I don't know it would be quite easy getting into a farm now, would it?
No, I think the cost. I think that's the
that
big
would-
thing. But
no.
well, we had somebody helping us at the lambing there. She started life as a welder, and I don't know what age she was, but then she'd gone into gone into rolling wool, rousing. She'd been to Australia. She was going to Ireland, and somebody said to her, "You're too wee to clip." And of course, that's just a red rag to a bull. So she's, it's not direct farming, but it's farming, and she's desperate to do that now. And I would imagine 3 years ago would hardly have done much with livestock as much as that at all. So there is people wanting to get into the industry,
Aye.
and okay, she might have a job farming, but she's in the industry and clipping, shearing. I know my son, where he's been in shearing, and it's unbelievable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
see the
yeah.
world.
Yeah, see the world, yeah. What's your favourite thing about your job?
Oh,
That's a difficult one, isn't it?
Well, the favourite thing, it's a satisfaction doing it well and doing it right.
Yeah,
yeah.
If you've
Yeah,
done the job and
yeah,
leaving it.
yeah,
Yes,
You
Wh-
fit-
wh- whether it's growing crops or
That's right.
looking after
Aye,
livestock.
yeah.
yeah. That's a funny thing, selling livestock sometimes, it's not the most satisfying, but it's very satisfying if they're looking well and you get what you think's a good price,
Absolutely.
and somebody else is going to take them on and they're going to thrive with them.
Mm.
Is being a farmer fun?
It can be, yeah.
Yeah, I see some funny moments in it. What else?
Yeah. Sometimes it can be difficult though.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun parts to it.
I think there's more fun in the older days than there is now. Because there's more people working in the
That's
farm.
true. That's true. Yeah.
There's always a comedian among us somewhere.
Yeah,
Somebody could tell.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Like, a couple used to have with us, it was great fun for the stories.
Okay. Okay.
They kept you used to.
And we're losing a lot of those stories, haven't we? We've lost a lot of those stories.
Yeah, there is less people on the farms now, and tend to be isolated to tractors, and
Aye.
although
Yeah,
there is mobile phones right enough, which
Mhm.
you used to keep in touch with each other. But it's not quite the same, I don't think.
No.
It's not really, no, it's not. Because I think they say they're in connection with more people, but you're almost more isolated with them, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Do you ever wish you had a different job?
Yeah.
I never give it a thought, really.
No.
It's just been.
Not really. Maybe a horrible
A horrible
day.
Yes. Why am I doing this?
Pouring rain or something, possibly.
Yeah.
Maybe wish you were in a nice office somewhere.
Aye. You know, what crops do you have and why? We just basically grow grass now to feed livestock.
Aye.
We're much the same, just grass, and we make some silage and some hay for winter feeding. Keeps it simple, really.
You would just be the same. You would grow some crops down at your farm, wouldn't you? You would grow grain for feeding and
Feeding.
and for whisky.
Turnips for feeding in the lambs. That's mostly there.
Yeah.
Grass for the silage pit and that. And barley as well. We would usually use all what we grow down there for feeding stock.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
the main thing. And then the surplus.
I don't think there's anything exotic growing in this valley, is there?
Certainly not watermelons.
No watermelons.
Not the right climate for that.
No really up here. No. You have to fight for that.
Yes. Aye. And there's tatties and turnips
Aye.
growing, but mainly the turnips are growing in the valley for human consumption down at Ballinloig, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. How often do you harvest crops? Well, we cut grass twice a year, but the cows harvest it every day in the summertime, and sheep all the time, don't they? Just keep eating.
Yeah.
How do you feel about growing animals as food?
Yeah.
I'm quite happy at that. I don't see a problem. You know, do you get emotionally attached to the animals? Yeah, I think we do.
Oh, aye.
I mean, I sometimes do feel quite guilty when I'm taking something to the slaughterhouse. I think I'm worse with cows than with sheep for some reason.
Yeah.
But you sort of console yourself because they've had a good life. They've had freedom from when they're born, living outside. You're able to express their natural behaviour and so on. So I console myself with that they have had a good life.
Yeah. I would agree. Yeah, sometimes you think, it's short, but it's been,
And they've been well cared for.
Yeah. I think, to be honest, we couldn't actually do without it, because I think it's a great source of good protein for us humans, and it, the whole ecosystem's about life and death, no matter where you go.
It is.
Whether it's leaves off a tree, they grow for 6 months and then
that's
they
right.
die.
Aye.
Grass is the same.
Yes, that's right.
So yeah, I think we all get emotionally attached to them in some way or another. Sometimes not emotionally good, on a bad morning it's quite difficult, but do any parts of the animals go to waste? Well, they say with a pig the only thing that's not used is the grunt, isn't it?
I think more goes to waste now because of all the different regulations.
I think it is still used though, isn't it? I don't know how much goes to landfill. I'm not sure either. But, if you look at some of those things online, you see the different things that are used. Take a cow or a bovine, where everything goes to, it's unbelievable.
Yeah,
some of the different things, How do you farm to be more environmentally friendly? Do you have an organic farm or an intensive farm? Are you still organic?
Yeah, we're still organic. We've been organic for 20 years now.
Have you? Aye.
Yeah.
There's not many left now, is there? Organic farms?
No, there's not as many as there was.
No, some of them.
We sell organic lamb. That mostly was through Marks and Spencer's and Tesco's, and unfortunately most of it is actually it goes down the south east of England, where the money is for that.
Yeah.
Because it's a slightly more expensive product.
We're probably less intensive than we used to be. Probably don't use as much fertiliser or chemicals because we've got more ground. I wouldn't take as intensive, but we do use fertilisers and chemicals. You use eco-friendly products in your animals. Eco-friendly, I think we use quite a lot of recycled stuff in the feed. We got 5 ton of feeding in yesterday, and I noticed there was sugar beet pulp, which is the residue from making sugar, and also there'd be wheat feed, the residue from making flour. There's something else, and I can't remember what it was, but a lot of those things are the residues, which is environmentally friendly, isn't it?
Yeah, a byproduct, something else.
Yeah. And how much energy does farming use? Quite a lot, if you take the sun.
It depends on the type of farming.
Aye.
Arable farming, growing crops will take more. Livestock farming a bit less, I would think.
But I think we use the energy from the sun more than anything else, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the most important source of energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's one here. Tell us about looking after the animals. Did any of your animals ever have a miscarriage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had one this morning actually. I gave her with a lamb that was born before its time. So yeah, it does happen.
It does happen.
Not much you can do about it. It's just the same as humans, really.
We had a cow, had a calf 2 months early. Don't know why, but it happens.
Yeah.
Did you get badly behaved animals? Yeah, well, I bought some heifers one year and they were really wild, quieting down with us. But it's sometimes in the breeding, you get one that's just a wee bit more fiery than the other.
Yes, that's right.
And sometimes when they calve, they can be more aggressive, not aggressive, but protective. And you've just got to watch yourself. You know, when calves are born, we treat them, we spray the navel with iodine, and you know, looking at the cow, if she's
how she looks at you.
How she looks at you, yeah. And if you think she's going to be aggressive, you actually leave it.
Leave it alone.
Again, that's just protecting their young.
Yeah, that's
just
right.
Natural behaviour.
I got hammered with a cow right enough once. I was lucky the door broke open, or I don't know what had happened.
Oh, she came at you, did she?
I didn't. I was weekends. I was feeding the cow. I don't usually do it. You see, it's just Saturday and Sunday. But Ian never told me that the cow and car was just in that. I just thought the thing as usual. Why could he just come at me? And poof! And I was lucky across the passage. And there was a hey heck, and I got pushed and below that. That's what saved me.
Really? That's lucky.
It was probably, I should have told me, but I never give it up. I should have known myself too, calf in there, but be careful, because the clock is the first right.
Well, it could do some damage.
So, I couldn't blame the cow for that.
No.
I was just lucky to think, boom, she couldn't get me there. That's the only time, though. I was sore for a while after that.
You're quite lucky that's the only time in your
farming
career.
I remember getting kicked by a beast, kicked me there. He ran past and just went through a narrow gate, kicked me there, and the footprint was on there for a while, and it was very sore.
The car,
he was quite fiery, but you learn to keep out of their way when they're big.
See, another good way of working with beasts was when you're bedding them with straw. You used to go in among them with a straw and check all the straw with the bales. You'll always be among them then, and they can't annoy you.
Yeah, that's right.
But now you've got this blower thing down, throw the straw in.
You don't get some contact with them.
And yet it's funny, like we've got a straw blower like that, and it's funny, the bull will come along and get you to blow stuff onto him. Onto his shoulder or onto his head. It's actually quite entertaining sometimes, just how he stands there and just enjoys it. And the cows will just, I know some people, I know a lad that puts them out of the shed when you do it, but we don't. We just drive along, and it's actually quite funny seeing that. And you put it at their faces that they maybe don't like it, but they don't seem to bother. Sometimes they turn their heads straight into it as well.
That was the eyes.
It doesn't seem to bother them. It doesn't seem to. No, I've never. Don't have any. No, I would honestly say I don't think I've seen any worse eyes since we started using it than before.
They get to know it.
Well, they do. Yeah. And I've seen the calves dancing with straw on their backs, just away, How does it smell in the barn?
I'd say it smells lovely.
Yes, no problem with it.
Kind of straw and a bit of cow dung doesn't smell that bad.
In fact, I was down at our daughter's there a month ago, and they were feeding hay to the cows, and it was actually a beautiful smell. I hadn't smelt hay like that for years. Just reminds you so much of summer. And you know, a round bale, sometimes it's actually getting quite difficult getting good smelling hay in a round bale.
Yeah,
But it doesn't
yeah.
seem the same. But oh, it's just,
No, it's a nice smell.
it was like days of old. There you go. Do you enjoy working with animals? You've got to.
Aye,
Yeah,
aye.
yeah,
Yeah.
we do.
You'd soon know if you don't.
Yeah, well, that's
It's
right.
up- They know.
Aye.
Ah,
And this is, do you get attached to animals? Of course you do.
Aye.
We've always
yeah.
favourite sheep, favourite
Cow,
cow,
that's right.
favourite calf.
Ah, yeah, absolutely.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Aye, that's true.
And there's always one that's annoying, that's less favourite, but
That could just spell it. People.
Well, they'll have their own characters too.
Have
That's
their
the
own-
other, that's the other thing.
yeah.
And well, I couldn't do my work without dogs because we've got quite a lot of ground to cover with to gather the sheep,
Mm-hmm.
and there's just no way you can do it without good dogs. Sometimes you'll get away maybe without a dog in a field, you know, with a quad, but out in the open hill in the heather, you're not going to, where it's rough terrain, you're not going to manage without a dog. So we've always got some working dogs of varying abilities that we'll always manage.
I used to have a sheepdog, and somebody asked me if it was deaf.
Yeah, they can have a problem with deafness, but sometimes it's selective.
Are your dogs pets as well?
Ah, they're pretty much pets, yeah.
Now, we had a pet spaniel for a while. We didn't do anything, but it was great fun with the kids and with ourselves. Good fun.
Yeah, we've got two dogs in the house, a retriever and a Jack Russell Terrier, and they're just pets. Although they both sometimes think they're sheepdogs.
Mm-hmm.
And come out and try and help, sometimes with success.
Mm-hmm.
But generally working dogs are collies.
Aye, yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you get attached to the animals? There's no doubt you must get attached to the cows, the sheep, the dogs. We've a cat as well.
Oh, aye.
She's a pest, but I still like her.
Yeah, you do.
Mm-hmm. Favourite farm animal?
Oh, no. Oh, I think cows. We'll go for cows, I think.
Aye.
Sheep, there's too many of them.
True.
I would say specifically a bull. You know, if you have a bull for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
the first bull I bought myself, he lasted us 10 years, and just he was a great favourite with everyone. I reckon he fathered over 700 calves.
That's good going.
Twice a year calving.
Gosh.
That was maybe a wee bit optimistic, but it was quite a lot.
Yeah.
And he was definitely a favourite. In fact, you know, the family were young at the time, and he would come to a shout. And I remember one time, he must have been quite young at the time, because he was a wee bit frisky. And I made a point, before with a quad bike, every time I went round him, I went to give him a scratch, you know, and just speak to him, to calm him down. And with friends visiting one night, and as you know, well, as we used to go round the livestock, and this bull kept following us around, and this chap, he had been farming, but he wasn't now, and he was a bit wary of him, and I was wondering what was happening, and then I remembered I gave him a scratch, and that was it. He walked away then.
Oh yeah,
It was quite,
came for the scratch.
that's all it was, you know.
That's
Aye.
right.
And it wasn't, you know, I would never scratch him on the head. It was just, you know, on his back, just
I
rub
think
his, rub his back a wee bit, and aye.
I think the tamest bull I've seen was a Hereford we had when we were kids, and we used to sit on his back. Three of us sat on his back.
Right.
And he was quite the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Never bothered.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Aye.
Wouldn't like to try and do that with some of them now.
Oh,
But the Herefords were docile
they were
beasties.
quite quiet, yeah. I can remember when we had horses and we used to make silage, you know, Clydesdales, and I was quite young at the time, and we tramped the silage pit with the horses, and I think there was about two other folk as well. My father worked on the farm at the time, and this Clydesdale, he put 4 of us kids on the Clydesdale's back, and we're walking round, and we all fell off at once, like that, and the horse just stopped dead like that.
Yeah. Big gentle giants.
Just,
Yeah.
just Danny was his name. Things he was big, amazing. What animals do you have and why? We've cattle, basically cattle and sheep to sell stuff for people to eat. Basically, if you get down to it.
We have sheep mostly because they suit the type of ground that we have. Rough heather ground that goes up to 2,500 feet. So sheep are the best animals to have to utilise that kind of terrain. And we did have cows, but don't have them anymore. We've also got Highland ponies, which are quite suited to the rougher ground as well.
Well, we've cows and sheep, but more crossbred sheep and some purebred Cheviates. And the cows are all crossbreds, put to a pure breed of bull, limousine bull mainly. We have more than 20, about 60 cows at the moment, I think. Probably used to have more. 550 ewes, I think, were put to the ram this year. There'd be more cows with you down by
Aye, there
Tommy.
is a bit more, about 100 and, what is it, 130 I think the house now.
Okay, a lot, yeah. It'd be one of the bigger herds in the area, isn't it?
Oh, next door's quite big too. He's a big herd and all.
Do you have a pig?
No.
We don't have a pig, no.
No, they have.
I can remember stories of a pig on the farm, but
Oh, I used to have them years ago at home. The pig was enough, it came out the house and everything.
aye, did it? Okay.
Aye, I just reminded the lad I was alive at that time.
Mm-hmm.
When I went away, that was the end of the pigs.
Mm-hmm. Well, most, 100 years ago, most farms would have a pig. I
Oh,
would
it would
think.
be, I said,
Yeah,
With
yeah.
a pig, there's also probably have a cow that they would milk
Yeah.
as well,
Mm-hmm.
which doesn't really happen nowadays.
At all.
Mm.
Miss the good milk.
Yeah, absolutely.
What machinery do you use? Tell us about the equipment you find the most useful. Probably a quad bike is one of the most useful
Oh, I
things
think so nowadays. You only do it with a cord bike now.
No,
No,
no.
never. That is what
Yeah,
it
it
is.
saves an awful lot of time
Mm-hmm.
compared,
Oh, it does.
compared to walking or whatever.
I think it's just because there's less people on farms, wouldn't it be? Because at one time,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
when there wasn't quad bikes, there was just more people
That's
to
right.
do that,
That's
especially in the
right,
hills.
that's
Most things right enough. Tractors would be the
Yeah,
main thing.
yeah.
Trailers, ploughs, mowers.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we've just the one tractor. It's about 130 horsepower, but we've a telescopic forklift as well, which is probably about the
Oh, just a little
same
work.
size.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, we've got two tractors, but they're not big tractors really. They're just big
Biggest
enough
machine we have is the combine.
Yeah.
for- Yeah,
I think that's the thing. Every machine, even the trailers are big now.
Oh, no, oh, aye.
To start with, we just 3-ton trailers. And now I think we're a 10-ton trailer.
And more than that now, some of them.
Yeah.
everyone's getting bigger.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bigger. Yeah.
Mind you, I don't know if it does the ground any good or the heavy trailers going to put on it.
Definitely not.
No.
I think
No.
it's
No,
bound to come packing.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not waiting some of that stuff they hardly.
Oh yeah.
I think patience is a virtue as well, isn't it?
But I suppose it's all down to time and cost nowadays.
That's right.
For
Yeah.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
For the arable farmers anyway.
Ah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. Do you use smart tractors? Well, we have a lot of stuff on our tractor, but I have a job using it.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. That's a
Oh,
problem.
well, we're going to do 3, no, 4 of them.
4 tractors, aye. Yeah, uh-huh.
The main one and the one, the loader one. Then there's the old one. It's on the feeder. That's what it's all winter.
Yeah.
Then there's the wee Fergie for skipping the slurry at the cubicle house.
Oh,
Okay.
Another favourite one. Getting up to be 60-year-old now. I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
gosh, you're doing well.
Okay. I have a grey Fergie in a shed as well, but it's not turned a wheel for a long time.
Mhm.
Mm.
We definitely don't use a smart tractor.
No,
no.
no.
Not right, yeah, but
Uh-huh.
there is one there. It even blows out his own tyres.
Oh, right.
Does it?
Okay.
And you get the fuel, it sets its own pressure for what the job you're doing there. Pierre.
Right.
Then
Is
you
it?
back it up to that onto the road, it blows them up again, take it along the road.
I think as you say, for the arable thing, I think it's, you need those things, you have them, and not in the livestock thing. I don't think we justify the...
No.
No.
Never, no.
No,
Working that, so.
expense and
And do you have a gun to kill pests?
I don't have a gun, no. But
I do.
farmer has one right enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes shoot rabbits. Not very good at hitting them. And I use it to put someone down. In fact, with a sheep to put down not long ago. She wasn't going to get up, and just to say that was the best thing for it, to euthanize it. And I think that's something we've got to come to terms with sometimes. It's quite, I always find it quite difficult to do, but you have to do it.
yeah, we're the same. We've got a gun for that, and sometimes you might get a problem with foxes killing lambs, so sometimes you may have to try and shoot them if you can.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes not that easy.
I don't know about texting cows, though.
No, it takes
No.
cows.
I don't, they would understand that.
Don't think they're very good at using a phone.
No.
Well, they do have the cow collars right enough, that
Well, that's right. It's,
where you can track them.
I spoke to
So,
our neighbour one day, and they've put boluses in the cow's stomachs,
right.
and they're supposed to tell you when they're calving,
All right.
something like that.
Uh-huh.
But I know dairymen now, they put things around their legs, and there's an awful lot of information comes from that. It's just a band,
Right. Uh-huh.
and it, you know, collects all this information, and this is a game changer. Go back to that one, the good and the bad things about your job. I think we said early on that weather was both good and bad, but
I think one of the bad things is the amount of paperwork that we have to do nowadays. It's fine sitting on a wet day doing it, but
it has to be awfully wet sometimes, doesn't it?
it's not my favourite part of the job anyway.
No, that's for sure.
But unfortunately, it has to be done. It's quite important it's done.
And I think it's just going to get worse as time goes on.
I think so.
Yeah,
I
everything's.
that'd be the hardest job, right enough. Paperwork and all that. Technical.
Just get it endless,
You've
really.
got to get it right too.
You just get one thing finished when and then something else crops up.
Comes up. Yeah. And some of the things nowadays we're being asked to do, the likes of do our carbon footprint. Now, I've never done that yet. I sometimes wonder why, because surely, okay, we can all improve those things, but it's basically we get this money from the government to help us farm. I often say it's to keep the price of food down, but all we're doing is giving that money away to people outside that want to come and take it away. And
What,
you know,
slice of the cake?
that's right. And at one time we were able to put that to improving our farm, but now it's to pay other people out there that really don't have any input, because what's known our carbon footprint, what's that going to do? We've always tried, in industry, we've always tried to do our best. We've got advice from people, and we try and take it and do our best. Where do we go from here? And that's the big problem. Where's it leading us? And I don't know what other kind of rules they're coming up with that just seem to be a green agenda, which you can't fault it, but I just wonder what's going to happen, because again, food is one of the most important things. It's the most important thing, really, if you get down to it. If we don't have food, we won't survive. And if you don't have food, you know, some statistics, you know, somebody said the world population is going to be 9.5 billion by 2050. Now, 100 years ago, I don't know what it was, probably 5 billion, maybe less, probably less than that, and we're still feeding them all. Okay, there's starvation, but probably a smaller percentage of the world population is starving now than has ever been, and generally. So the industry's done a good job, not just here, but worldwide.
And there's definitely a conflict between the environment and farming, and it's quite difficult to get that balance right. You have to remember at the end of the day we need to produce enough
food.
Enough food.
Yeah.
So unfortunately there probably has to be an environmental cost to that.
I know people talk about rewilding, and I sometimes wonder what it is, because we had a holiday last year, no, was it last year? I can't remember. We stayed up north anyway, and we drove from Lairg up to Tongue, and my wife and I both commented on it. There was nothing there. There was no, a wee game as we're driving, see if you can see a sheep. It was only afterwards realised that was the wealthy Dutch guy that's got it. And you hardly saw a bird, hardly saw anything. Now, he's rewilding that, and it just looks so sad and neglected to me.
Yeah.
And they tell us that rewilding is going to repopulate the countryside. I don't think it is. It's going to be the next depopulation.
I mean, I think it's all about balance. You know, if you try to go to either extreme, then I think you hit problems. But if everything's a bit of a mix, then I think that's you know, a better solution.
Yeah.
You know, some grazing animals, but to go extreme.
Because they'll talk now about the deer on the hills going down to three deer per hectare from probably 10 or 11 at the moment, which seems a big difference. You know, it's quarter virtually. But up in that bit I was talking about, speaking to a local guy, and he said that they want rid of all the deer. They've been controlling them, shooting them, but all they're doing is driving them out with the area and put more pressure on other bits, because you'll never get them all. So it's, as you see, it's a balance, isn't it?
But again, it would be a bad idea to wipe all the deer out. It'd be better to leave some there.
Yeah.
Because they have a job to do as well.
And is it more a mixed agriculture we're missing for people for different things in the countryside? Is it just economics that we don't have as many people there?
Well, I think a lot of it's to do with simplicity, isn't it? You know, especially with the arable farming side, where it's a lot of them don't have livestock, it's just growing crops, not really doing a proper rotation. They're just using chemicals to control weeds and pests. You can argue that's not a good thing, but it's the most efficient way to produce food. So it's difficult getting that balance in certainly in intensive agriculture. Probably a bit easier in the hills.
But you'll see a change in the hills too, with not nearly so many sheep.